We're good. All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Steuben County Drainage Board meeting, November 3rd, 2025. First item on the agenda is the approval of minutes for October 20th. Motion to approve. Present, or you're not present, so I will second that. That's a good point. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Good say. All right. Those of you in attendance for the two hearings we're having, we'll start the Theodore Wood public hearing at 2:05. I can't start before because that's what it was advertised. And then the Hamilton Lake number 4 public hearing will be at 2:25, or if we run a little later in the Theodore one, it'll start right immediately after that one.
Do you have enough time to do the HVAC up to
Yeah,
that time?
Oh, yeah, we can move to that now.
Sure, so we've been reaching out to John Ritchie at the Army Corps of Engineers. However, due to the government shutdown, it's affecting them as well. Last I heard, we will need to apply for a permit for the outflow into Fish Creek because it is a little bit different location. My understanding is we got a verbal, it should go easy, it should be approved. And we're just waiting on that. And then hopefully we can go through and have you guys. My recommendation would be obviously to adopt that as county regulated tile.
Once it's completed.
Yeah, once it's there.
The new one that was placed there.
That's correct. Yeah. Even though it's underground, we have.
Any other mitigation that they're.
I don't believe so. I think they were working more towards making things legal versus punishing, if you will, correct? Put it in layman's terms. So instead of putting violations on it, they're working towards making it legal, making it just, and adopting it. So hopefully we'll get that wrapped up by the end. I'd sure like to. I think we all get that wrapped up.
Yes, get that off our plate. Sounds good.
And the information you provided me, the contact information that you gave me for that drain tile down on 100 East, off of 100 East, that pond tile, he was granted a permit
Oh, nice.
very quickly.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, perfect. That works.
Yeah,
I already tried to do it.
state gave him a permit, and he got rather quickly.
Never heard of it. Yeah, even though the government or the IDEM or the Corps shut down, they seem pretty optimistic. He's like, I've been in this for 28 years and we've been shut down 5-6 different times. Start up again.
Simple.
What's it still working? Friday night. Yeah, that's true.
Positive of year.
Go 5?
All
All right. All right, we'll begin the procedure of Steuben County Drainage Board for the public hearing on maintenance petitions. The Theodore Wood Regulated Drain number 579, file number 2511. Prior show, it's November 3rd, 2025. Purpose of this hearing is to increase the increased rate of assessment for maintenance. We call this hearing to order to begin the proceedings. The hearing for the purpose of receiving evidence for the number 579 Theodore Wood drain matters. Notices have been filed with the board for A, first-class mail to landowners, September 25th, 2025, and B, public newspaper notice appeared on October 24th, 2025. Each person in attendance is requested to write his or her name, address, and name of any group or firm represented on the sign-up sheet. Has that been done?
Yeah.
Okay. The surveyor reports that there were no petitions of record filed on this hearing was initiated by the surveyor's office. The procedure for conducting the hearing is as follows. A, surveyor's report, B, petitions first, C, objections second, and then D, questions and answers. Let the record show that each board member has been provided with a file containing copies of all documentation relevant to these proceedings, including the proposed schedule of assessments and surveyor's report. The surveyor is requested to make his report on the maintenance, including the A, history, B, recommendations, and then C, explanations of watershed. The surveyor will now read his report.
Okay, so as directed by the Steuben County Drainage Board, the Steuben County Surveyor's Office has prepared a watershed assessment map, assessment roll, and a list of affected landowners. The Surveyor's Office has also notified all the landowners in the 579 Theodore Wood drainage basin involved in these proceedings and does hereby submit a formal maintenance report for your review, approval, and adoption. The number 579 Theodore Wood regulated drain is located in the Pigeon Creek drainage basins, sections 29, 30, and 31 of Scott Township, T37 Cannon, R14E, Steuben County, Indiana. The number 579 Theodore Wood regulated drain was originally established in 1912 as part of the Pigeon Creek Basin and discharges directly into Pigeon Lake. The number 579 Theodore Wood drain is currently comprised of 474.86 benefited acres with 2.17 miles of tile and 1,565 linear foot of open ditch in an agricultural and residential drainage network. The last time the rate was raised was in 1987. And the recommendations are, it is noted by the Steuben County Surveyor's Office at the current rate of $1.50 per acre with the $6 minimum, roadway times 2 is no longer sufficient to properly maintain the number 579 Theodore Wood regulated drain with an annual income of $857.48. Therefore, it is recommended by the Steuben County Surveyor's Office that a new rate of the number 579 Theodore Wood maintenance unit be increased to $10 an acre with a $25 minimum and roadway times 2. This will collect an annual income of $5,155 to maintain the Theodore Wood regulated drain. It is also recommended by the Steuben County Surveyor's Office that the number 579 Theodore Wood watershed and the railroad no longer contributes to the 551 George Shrimpland unit, but rather be directly assessed the 13 cents per acre with the $6.25% minimum. Currently, it makes this annual assessment by contribution.
Does any board member or any other person have questions of the surveyor about the technical aspects of the surveyor's report? Ask the surveyor some questions. Are all lands within the watershed assessed?
Yes,
Are all benefits assessed, not excessive?
correct, yes.
Are the costs, damages, and expenses less than the benefits accruing to owners of land benefited?
Yes.
Surveyor will report to the board any person who filed a timely written objection of record, and the board shall consider each one separately and make a decision on the objection. If the person who filed an objection is present today and would like to speak, please do so after your letter is read.
There's one timely letter of objection received, which y'all have a copy of, along with the pictures. Received on October 23rd. And it is from Shane and Beth Groves, Pigeon Lake Farms. To whom it may concern, we received a notice of public hearing regarding the increase in annual maintenance of the 579 Theodore Wood regulated drain in Pigeon Creek Basin, Scott Township. We currently own a 110-acre piece of property, 56 of which are affected by the increase in annual maintenance. Our property is the entire southern shore of Pigeon Lake and has historically endured drainage issues and flooding in the spring and in times of heavy rain. We'd like to recognize our appreciation of the work done in the last year in cleaning up Pigeon River to improve drainage on the lake. However, although the flooding recedes in days now rather than a week or longer, we have grave concerns regarding improving drainage of surrounding water into the lake. Simply put, the lake cannot handle more water and flow drainage into the lake at a faster rate. We have livestock coming in the spring, and the lake, usually at least once in the spring, floods our pasture. We are looking forward to the relief in the flooding since the work was done last year. This lake has 5 inlets, I believe, but only 1 outlet. This obviously leads to larger problems if these 5 inlets work even more efficiently and send more water from all the surrounding fields and ground into the lake than we're receiving currently and at a faster pace. But I've discussed a few, but not all of the reasons this maintenance and work done on the drainage would negatively affect us. There's also a matter of increased ditch tax. We are being asked to share the cost, 11% out of all the expenses totaling $569.20 a year. This annual amount on top of the 11.5% of our property taxes increase since the previous year is a great deal of money to pay for the improvements that are damaging us even more financially because of the increased flooding. We love our county, we support our county, but we beg you to look for another way to improve drainage in the Pigeon Creek Basin rather than flood our property while we are being asked to cover the expenses to do so. And respect Shane and Beth Groves. There's a rebuttal letter.
Like me to read that?
Yes.
Sure. So we have a letter response. I was able to personally talk to Mrs. Beth Groves that came in too. But the letter reads, your letter of objection to the number 579 Theodore Wood regulated drain maintenance increase was received and filed in the Steuben County Surveyor's Office on October 23rd, 2025. Your letter of objection will be read into the minutes and ruled on by the Steuben County Drainage Board on November 3rd, 2025 at 2:05 p.m. in the Commissioner's Room, Suite 2H, Steuben County Center, Angola, Indiana. The maintenance increase for the number 575 Theodore Wood regulated drain is for maintenance on existing drains only and not for construction of any new drains. Any additional water coming from repairing existing drains will be minimal. The goal of the Steuben County Surveyor's Office is to continue performing maintenance downstream from Pigeon Lake, which will keep improving the drainage. Additionally, after investigating the benefited acres for your parcel, I will be recommended that the Steuben County Drainage Board reduce your benefited acres to 40.42 acres, which would reduce your annual rate to $404.20 if approved. Should you have any further questions or comments, please contact me at 260-668-1000 extension 1800. You can also email me at surveyor@co.steuben.in.us. Respectfully, Jim Slabaugh.
Are the Groves here today? I'll have you, just give me a second. Are there any persons in favor of the maintenance increase who want to speak? attorneys at law first, if any, present. Are any persons against the maintenance increase who want to speak? Attorneys at law first, if any, present. Yes, I feel. Present.
We don't care to pay the extra money, even the full amount, if we can get the water away from the lake faster than what it is now.
I believe that's what we've been talking about for a while now.
I guess my question is what is the solution to what your proposal is, you know?
Sure, just in fact, over the weekend, I don't know if you saw off the road, but we had a beaver trapper go in there and just in the south side of 20, I believe he got a family of 6 beavers out of there now.
Yeah.
And so again, it's just continued maintenance. It was cleaned in 2024, I believe. And into last year too, we cleaned all the way.
But which helped considerably.
Sure.
I mean, it really helped.
Yeah.
But the problem is it's not deep enough to retain the amount of water coming in. And
So
therefore it can't get away.
on the pigeon, there is rules and guidelines that I have to follow as far as dipping it out. I think the first thing we were trying to do is remove all the trees and obstructions. And again, that starts all the way up by Woody's farm and it starts out a little trickle and goes all the way to, 327. So my goal was to clean all that downstream, remove the trees and obstructions. And I have also been working with straight south of you, not only the Dellers and the tenant farmers, which would be Story Farms too. They requested that that'll be dipped out again. Unfortunately, county government takes a little bit longer, but again, the whole idea of this is to clean downstream, not push any more water onto somebody else first, So we're doing that. Yeah.
So when we first got this, it didn't really have the plan, obviously.
Sure.
So we were worried that all the drains and all the tiles from all the surrounding ag ground was going to be improved,
Right.
increasing the water coming on, which was our biggest
Right,
concern.
and I will tell you too, there's like a second phase of Eastern Crossings that's going in. And we actually sent that out for secondary review to Christopher Burke and Associates, who they're kind of the, I don't know, how should you say it, the main,
They're gonna be our third party.
they're a third party, but they're top
They
notch.
basically wrote the drainage laws
Okay.
for a lot of the counties of what they need to do in order to like retain water and developments, what there should be required. So they know what they're talking about. And a lot of those other drains that come into Pigeon Lake are different watersheds and different units, even though they're all in Pigeon Creek per se, but they're different maintenance units. So, we do have Berlin, Judge Cole, a little bit of Theodore Wood going in there. George Shrimpland 1, which comes from Cedar Creek or Cedar Swamp going all the way down there. So there's several that go into there.
So is the acres a part of this?
Yes.
That's correct, yes. And we did clean that too, south of you too, north of 20, in between US 20 and Pigeon Pond, which the pond is in between the lake and 20. We cleaned that, and I will tell you too, Greg and I have personally been up there at City Hall on more than one occasion too, just discussing with the city too, with their whole extra territorial jurisdiction, and we're like, hey, we need to, so we're definitely on the same page as far as making sure the new home developments have sufficient retainage areas, so it, the release of water, there's a formula they go through, but the release of their water isn't any faster than,
So the ditch that runs in behind the Hawkinses, that runs across our driveway. It's been, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, Charlie Crowell replaced that.
Okay,
It's washing out already.
okay.
So I don't know if I need to fix that, if that's on the county, I'm not sure. It's a county ditch, I know that.
Right.
The culvert, it looks like it goes underneath the driveway.
Yeah.
That should be, crossings per se are usually the landowners, but it looks like it's because it is for the driveway, usually it's, I put it in to begin with, but then after that it's still.
Okay.
I think I enclosed photos of that where it just kind of collapsed. That's the same culvert.
That was just 5 years ago?
Oh, I think it was more than that.
6, 7 years ago, maybe.
So I guess that would be a question for the board. Generally, the crossings are privately owned.
It
Doesn't look like it.
Individuals, however, pardon?
Who put that? The county did.
They
Charlie
did it
Brown.
initially, but then afterwards, it's usually the landowners, but it does look like it's under, is it gravel or asphalt on your driveway?
That's gravel.
So it's underneath all the gravel in the driveway. So that's not really like a regular field crossing would be.
So I guess if you guys would give me the green light, I'd go ahead and fix it, I guess, so.
You pay for it on the $536 at this point.
Yeah.
Look, I don't care to fix it myself. I just didn't wanna,
Sure.
I mean, I can fix it.
Do you feel the size, and I guess I need to look at it, Commissioner Scheib just asked if the size is sufficient enough.
It's definitely sufficient. It's probably 3 foot.
Okay.
Washed out.
And what's the material?
Just the tile?
That was the old one. That was before it was replaced.
It's right, it's the one crossing the driveway right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is, but that's when it washed out and
And it's
then it
on
was
this side
replaced.
of the driveway. Back towards like the little lobby.
So none of these pictures currently show that.
No, because that's where it originally washed out and was replaced from there.
These are all the old one.
Yes.
Driveway.
They put a bigger culvert in because that clearly couldn't handle the water, because it was washing
That's
everything
why I
out.
was asking that question.
Yeah,
Seeing what it was doing and everything, it looked like it was washing it out.
yeah.
But it's already needing replaced?
Well, the culvert's not even replaced, it's just washing out.
Oh, it just needs gravel and stuff out there.
And it's back towards the water, like, yeah, right up a little farther, right in that area.
I think that's something that you go put eyes on and.
Okay.
If you would just look at it, because it's dropped probably a foot, the whole area from where it was dug, it's settled is what it has done.
The ground itself has, or the culvert?
ground itself.
Okay, sure.
We need to look at it. I'm not personally crawled down
Do you know what the culvert material is made out of? It's
steel,
It is steel.
galvanized, whatever. yeah.
Okay, that's kind of you guys work that out.
Sure.
Let's get back to the hearing, since we're kind of in an official matter here, so. Are you good? Do you have any more? Okay,
No, I was-
okay. Is there any other, would you like to say something against the project or against the maintenance increase for this particular watershed? All right. Are there any additional questions or comments from any person present? The board now begins decision-making process. Should the proposed schedule of maintenance assessments be changed in any way?
Yeah, because we need to do those letters first. If you're gonna agree with his recommendation
Oh, I'm sorry.
to decrease their benefited
Yeah,
acres.
sorry about that.
No, you're okay.
So we want to process back here. Yeah, we'd like to add a motion to approve or disapprove the letter from Mr. and Mrs.
So we're reducing their
And here's 200.
benefited acreage, right?
That's correct.
The 40.42 acres.
Approve his recommendation, however the rest of the other statements, or the rest of the. There's really no other objection.
Motion would be to disapprove the letter and approve the recommendations of the reduced acreage by surveyor.
Sorry. First and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Now we'll begin the decision-making process. To propose the schedule of maintenance assessments be changed in any way.
As you just amended it
As we just amended it.
with the benefit of Digger. So that's going to change the dollar amount.
It's gonna drop to $49.90. And am I correct in the fact that that account has a positive balance in it?
It does right now, I think it's a couple of thousand. However, I know we've already had a lot of requests for some other work done in that same watershed, so that's gonna go fast. Yeah, there is $2,291 in there.
And $49.90 will be used mostly for work done downstream.
Again, yes. First of all, but again, the further up you go, somebody's always downstream, so.
Changed only as recommended by the surveyor.
That's amended. Okay with that? Yes. Would the surveyor's report be approved as finally presented?
Yes.
Yes. Would any member desire any further evidence in order to make a decision? Should the hearing be adjourned and reconvened to a date certain? I will review of proposed finding of facts.
The Bend Drainage Board findings of fact, the board makes the following findings of fact for maintenance of a drain. These are proposed findings and not final until finally adopted. Number one, the public hearing is being recorded by digital recorder. 2, petitions were filed and the board had requested that the surveyor's maps, drawings, and documents for this drain be admitted into evidence. Maintenance increase initiated by surveyor's office. 3, the drain has been classified and previously placed on the priority list of the long-range plan of the board. 4, there are no damages to any landowner. 5, all of the benefit factors of section 112 of the Indiana County Drainage Board Code have been considered by the board. 6, all landowners sent notices of the proposed assessment that have lands within the watershed. 7, notices by mail and by newspaper have been properly and timely made as required by the Indiana County Drainage Board Code for public hearing. 8, that all lands included in the watershed are assessed. 9, that no lands outside the watershed are assessed. 10, that none of the benefits assessed against any landowner are excessively applied. 11, that no further evidence is required for the board to make a decision. 12, that all persons desiring to speak in person or by counsel have been permitted a reasonable opportunity to present their evidence orally or in writing. 13, that all timely objections, if any, have been heard, discussed, replied to by the surveyor, and ruled on by the board. 14, that no person has objected to the procedure of the board during the public hearing. 15, that the board has jurisdiction of this drain with the Indiana County Drainage Board Code. 16, that the drain is in need of periodic maintenance. 17, that this drain can be made to A, perform the function for which it was designed and constructed, and B, to properly drain all affected land under current conditions by periodically cleaning, spraying, removing obstruction, and making minor repairs to it. 18, that the work proposed by the surveyor should be performed on this drain does not provide for any reconstruction as provided in the drainage code. 19, that the board is unaware of any pollution of the drain. 20, that there has been no evidence to vacate the drain or that the drain has been abandoned by the board. 21, that all relevant documentation in the files of the surveyor and the board regarding this drain are received into evidence by the board. 22, any assessment against a state or county highway should be and is 2 times the base rate per acre. 23, the schedule of assessments as originally filed is adopted by the board, except as amended. 24, that the watershed will no longer annually contribute funds to the number 551 George Shrimplin Maintenance Unit and will be directly assessed in the 551 George Shrimplin watershed. 25, that the secretary of the board shall publish the notice of the board's final order as required by the Indiana County Drainage Code. 26, that the final order form of the board is approved for the final order of the board for this drain and is adopted to the extent it can be made consistent with these findings and final order of the board.
That's for a motion to approve the finding of facts.
Second.
First and second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Now I will ask for a motion to approve or a motion to dismiss the surveyor's request for the number 579 Theodore Wood maintenance increase.
Approve the request. I'll second.
First and second. Further discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, signify saying aye. Aye. I now announce that the board has approved these findings and the board is instructing the secretary of the board to publish notice of the findings in order. This hearing is now adjourned. Thank you. Yeah, so we did the whole thing again.
I'll wait for you.
Not helping, yeah. Like that. It's amazing. I did. I'm like, she's over there. Okay, Canadian left.
I did.
Ready? All right, we will begin with the second. This is the procedure of the Steuben County Drainage Board for public hearing on the maintenance petitions. Hamilton Lake for regulated drain number 531, file number 2512. November 3rd, 2025. Purpose of this hearing is to increase rate of assessment for maintenance. We call this hearing to order to begin the proceedings. This hearing is for the purpose of receiving evidence for the number 531 Hamilton Lake for drain matters. Notices have been filed with the board for A, first class mail to landowners, September 25th, 2025. B, public newspaper notice appeared on October 24th, 2025. Each person in attendance is requested to write his or her name, address, and name of any group or firm represented on the sign-up sheet. Has everybody done that? All right. The surveyor's report that the surveyor reports that there were no petitions of record filed, and this hearing was initiated by the surveyor's office. The procedure for conducting the hearing is as follows. A, surveyor's report. B, petitions first. C, objections second. D, questions and answers. Let the record show that each board member has been provided with a file containing copies of all documentations relevant to these proceedings, including the proposed schedule of assessments and surveyor's report. The surveyor is requested to make his report on the maintenance, including the A, history, B, recommendations, and C, explanations of watershed. Now, surveyor, please read your report.
As directed by the Steuben County Drainage Board, the Steuben County Surveyor's Office has prepared a watershed map, assessment roll, and a list of affected landowners. The surveyor's office is also notified the landowners in the number 531 Hamilton Lake 4 drainage basin involved in these proceedings and is hereby submit a formal maintenance report for your review, approval, and adoption. The 531 Hamilton Lake 4 regulated drain is located in the Fish Creek drainage basin, sections 24, 25, 26, 27, 34, 35, and 36. Otsego Township, T36N, R14E, and Section 19, Richland Township, T36N, R15E, Steuben County, Indiana. The number 531 Hamilton Lake 4 regulated drain is located in the Fish Creek Basin and is made up of the Jacob Baker, John Oberlin, and Oscar Little regulated drains. The Jacob Baker drain and the Jacob Baker laterals were established in 1905. The John Oberlin drain and the John Oberlin laterals were established in 1917. The Oscar Little drain was established in 1927. The Jacob Baker, John Oberlin, and Oscar Little regulated drains discharge into the Hiram Sweet regulated open drain that eventually discharges into Fish Creek. The 531 Hamilton Lake 4 regulated drain is currently comprised of 1,993.33 benefited acres with 4.08 miles of tile and 5.57 miles of open ditch in an agricultural and residential drainage network. The last time the rate was increased was in 1996. It is noted by the Steuben County Surveyor's Office that the current rate of $2 per acre with the $10 minimum is no longer sufficient to properly maintain the number 531 Hamilton Lake 4 regulated drain with an annual income of $4,285.11. The 531 Hamilton Lake 4 regulated drain is currently $32,296.19 in debt. Therefore, it is recommended the Steuben County Surveyor's Office, by the Steuben County Surveyor's Office, that the new rate of the number 531 Hamilton Lake 4 maintenance unit be increased to $10 an acre with a $25 minimum. This will collect an annual income of $20,096 to maintain the number 531 Hamilton Lake 4 regulated drain.
Does any board member or any other persons have questions to the surveyor about the technical aspects of the surveyor's report?
You select the proposed rates based on anticipated work.
First of all, we need to get out of debt, and then there is anticipated work, absolutely. Again, these drains came about in the early teens and 20s, and even though some of it's open, it's still mucky, flat ground that has to be dipped out every 5, 6, 7 years, and a lot of these laterals have been patched on and band-aided it up, and they're just, time is just starting to take toll on them.
I will now ask the surveyor for his opinion on the following questions. Are all lands within the watershed assessed?
Yes,
Are all benefits assessed and not excessive?
correct.
Are the costs, damages, and expenses less than the benefits accruing to owners of land benefited?
Yes.
The surveyor will report to the board any person who filed a timely written objection of record, and the board shall consider each one separately and make a decision on the objection. If the person who filed an objection is present today and would like to speak, please do so after your letter is read.
There were 22 timely letters of objection received. They were all the exact same letter from different people. I'll read the letter first and read all the people that sent one in. Dear members of the Steuben County Drainage Board, they're all received on October 29th, which is the final day. I hope this letter finds you well. I am writing to express my concern regarding the recent increase in the ditch tax from $2 to the new amount of $10. While I understand the importance of maintaining and improving our drainage systems, I believe this increase poses a significant burden on property owners in our community. I respectfully urge the board to reconsider this increase and explore alternative funding options that would be more equitable and sustainable for all residents. It is my hope that we can work together and find a balanced solution that supports the community needs without imposing undue financial strain. Thank you for your time and consideration and look forward to your response and then hopeful for a constructive dialogue. And we got a letter was sent from Kirby and Karen Myers, Herbert Howard, Wanda Lee Casper, Danny and Betty Whitehold, Paul Peppercorn, Dan Day and Lynn Birch, Mark Gerardo, William Petcart, David and Connie Ricketts, Lorraine Dove, Brian Presley, Stephen Weinhold, Brian Nestor, Nathan Peppercorn, Richard Heights, Matt Myers, Robert and Carrie Bird, Roger Hantz, Cole Chipman, Charles Refner, Tim Arata, Keith and Lindsay Ravis. And I would suggest that you accept them all. I mean, you can make a motion on all together since they're exactly similar rather than individually.
You're referring to the motion?
Well, with a motion to include all of them.
Yes, that'd be fine, yes. It's the same letter, it's already in the record.
Okay.
Petition.
How did you come up with the rate increase? I mean, I read something I thought that was,
Oh, you'll get a second. That's all right. You have a rebuttal letter?
We did not. It was the last day that was a cutoff date.
Okay.
So there was no time to actually write a letter to all 22 and get them in the mail. And
Yeah.
basically, that is every watershed pays to maintain their own watershed. There are no alternative funding options. Your money that we collect stays in your watershed. It's not used anywhere else. It is in significant debt, so that does need to get out of debt. And, I mean, increase, it's just gone up so much expenses that it's hard to maintain anything anymore on what they were bringing in. Some of these rates needed to be changed decades ago. But-
I was just kind of wondering how you came up with it. It looked like, I read something that maybe you still have a shortfall even after the increase.
It's gonna take a while to get out of debt. It'll take, like, what, a year and a half, 2 years? If this passes, if they don't change.
How did we get so far in debt when you only clean that ditch every 5 to 7 years?
Just that work because you wanted it cleaned on the other side. That was a tremendous amount of money. We also had a lot of work on Holden's property, Eckhart's in the past. We can bring up the data cut stuff if you want to, or have a copy of the ledger. I mean, there's been a lot of work. It's surprising. I mean, it's unbelievable just for them to even take a trip out there. You get a bill for $7,800 or $5,500. It just, and if it was only bringing in 4, it doesn't take long to eat that up.
How much did you pay the last time to get it clean?
And sorry,
Succession of bills. Here, I'll give you.
let's do the procedures properly. Okay, is there any, are there any persons in favor of the maintenance increase? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, do we want to take a motion on the, we'll get speaker. They have to be slapped in the letter.
If they have decided.
Before we
to
vote.
come to the letter, yeah, they would ask.
Is that right, Don? Before we vote, they have to have a. So is there anybody that would like to speak on their letter that they wrote to the surveyor?
You wanted to ask that question, right? How they came up with the,
Yeah, I didn't know whether it was estimated man hours at this particular rate and whether, do you go through a process on who does it?
Yeah, so how the rate was, again, this is a recommendation. For one, the tiles are the tiles and drains were established back in the teens and twenties, so they're starting to go. The rate has not been increased in, what are we at here? 1996, so we're talking, 30 years in there almost. And there is, again, there's definitely work to be done.
But you don't know how many man hours? I mean,
Well, when things are buried, it's a little bit tough to know, it goes in a lot of different factors. It's the soil type, it's how deep it is, the size of the tile. So, I will tell you, I do make it a point to try to use, local, within the county contractors. And a lot of times I'll try to use a contractor that the landowner may know or be familiar with or comfortable with, using. So, somebody else from another county that take the money and just run with that. So, and again, unfortunately, you know how prices have been lately. Everything's going up, and we're just trying to do what we can.
so we're just guessing at the increase?
I wouldn't say we're guessing, but obviously, this is based on rates that we're using in other watersheds too. I mean, other watersheds were spending, $20 and $30 an acre, but, just based on that. And we go through and we try to do a study best we can, even though we can't put a footprint on everything, sometimes we'll do the drone thing and fly drones across, or we'll, try to walk, or I'll try to be out there and, see what the contractors are doing. And we try to study the land best we can. And saying that, there's over 600 miles of county regulated.
Well, it's a special animal. We got 101 lakes and
Right.
it's a lot of drainages.
It is. So I wish I could just be on a horse and do that every day, all day long, but I can't. So
Have your name too, please.
I'm sorry.
Can I have your name too, please?
Ty?
Holmes?
I'm not affected by this particular one, but I am affected by another one out there. So.
I think we would like to point out too, I don't think this gets mentioned, is once you have collected 4 years and of surplus, then that assessment can drop off. So basically, once you fill that maintenance unit's coffers, it then will drop off or significantly lower than.
We won't have an assessment at all for that year until it drops below it.
So it's not all necessarily always ongoing, but when you're in arrears like this, it does take a while to catch up. That makes sense.
That's not a good place to be.
Right. Any other, anybody else would like to speak?
All this sheet she handed me here is not real clear anyway.
1158 or whatever it is on there, that's the negative side, so it's the bad side of the checkbook in the red, and then the other one is actual money coming in.
Okay, say all these places, you did all this work and it's $7,000, $5,000, 4,800, 3,800, another 5,000, another 5,000. Where are you doing all this work at?
The name's gonna be on here with what you have, like H&P Excavating, it says R. Holden, 575 East, which is Truckle Tile and Dump. There's a Hickson's, that's R. Holden, another HP R. Holden. Timber Chip is K. Myers. Another Hickson is Richard Holden, and then the other ones, K. Myers is the 360 Earthwork, which is the Oscar Little Drain, that's on yours. It's in 24. I think there was a lot of, probably Pickard patchwork before that.
I guess my question is, we gotta right now address the letter as itself, and then we can possibly look at that on the next line, but we want to address these 22 letters.
As one, we don't have to go through each one and do a separate objection.
No change to the Exceptions to the parcels that were included in the watershed, then I make a motion to reject. Change.
Second. First and second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, now we'll get back on track. Are there any persons in favor of the maintenance increase who want to speak? Attorneys at law first, any present? What is the attorney? Are there any persons against the maintenance increase who want to speak? Attorneys at law first, if any present. Or is there any additional? Yes.
Yeah, I like to speak against that. You know, I tried to have this a year ago when I was up here. You know, you guys you've come in on my side since you started cleaning ditches after it was built. You've always dumped it on that side. My dad owned that farm in 1945. It's been dumped on ever since on his side. You've never set foot on the other side of that ditch and cleaned it. It's full of dead trees. You just paid Sturry to clean it last year, do a bottom clean out. And he didn't take anything off the other side either, only out of the ditch. And there's already stuff fell into it now. So it's gonna be backing up down on Peckhart's again, where it won't drain. You don't clean the other side of the ditch, it's a continuous problem and you gotta keep spending money. If you ever clean that other side over there, it won't get filled up in 10 years. There's nothing on the side that I held that plugs it up. Because there's no trees. The other side is all trees. They're all dead, bent over, fallen over. I could have brought you some pictures, but I didn't.
So I remember, I think there was a discrepancy in the survey lines itself that we found. And I think, if I remember right, we talked about going in the other side to remove the trees would be fairly costly to go through there, I believe.
Yeah, but it's costly to clean it too,
Right, it is.
you know? You just leave it and let the cost keep building up? Or are you gonna straighten part of that out so that the water from this area all down through there gets to where it's supposed to go? You know, last year, the guy come and did that, and he dumped stuff where he wasn't supposed to. And it was all piled up and had this, I've never seen anybody come in and do what you did last year. He had to come in and chip the stuff to get it out of there.
It's because you wouldn't let us bury it on your property.
Huh?
You weren't letting us bury it on your property.
No, I didn't want it dug a hole in my muck and
You were fighting
All
us
full
on
of
it.
trees
We
and
also
burning.
told you that we needed more money that would be $100,000 job to be able to clean trees all along the other side. So we needed more money for that in the future.
you live in that area?
I've been out there on foot. Walked the whole ditch on foot.
Point though, you need to clean out both sides in
Yeah.
order to keep those obstructions from continuing.
Sure. Again, I believe it's been like that. I can't answer. I know I cleaned
I've got
the
on
wrong
here.
side one time because I've only been in office for one side. So for one cleanup. So obviously that is gonna be something that I want to work with you in the future and say, hey, if we need to go on that other side, we need to go on that other side. Taking that into consideration, there's almost 2,000 acres in the watershed, so we need to disperse that money to all the 2,000 benefited acres. So it is a challenge. It definitely is a challenge.
And with that amount of money that it was bringing in, all you can do is Band-Aid. You can do.
$4,500 basically. Or 41.
What we're bringing in.
Currently, yeah, 4,146.
Did the history say, and I don't want to get too far out, so shut me up if I'm going back. I thought at one time the trees we thought might have been on another person's property, but actually you did own it. After we looked at the survey a little bit closer, you own the trees on the other side. And that's why maybe in years past, they didn't go over there. Am I right in saying that?
You're going by that beacon thing, right?
That's correct. The beacon shows that you do own on the other side of the ditch a little bit, but again,
What's now, it's 75 feet on either side.
we can go 75 foot on either side, correct? Yeah.
But I think that, yeah,
The paperwork when my dad had bought the farm, the center of the ditch is the property line down there on the southeast corner. It's not on the other side.
Okay. So the beacon may be messed up in that.
You can't go by beacon.
that is, well, I think to get us back on track on the topic at hand, the hearing is for is to increase the maintenance, price of the maintenance unit so we can do additional work, because right now it would be pretty much at your, aren't we? What's that? 7 years, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
you have to have a hearing once you hit
yes.
so much in debt, yes.
So again, State Board of Accounts says after 8 years, we have to have it. State Board of Accounts.
So are there any additional questions or comments from any person present?
So all of a sudden in 2024, we got in the hole on that ditch area.
Doesn't take that,
Before, we wasn't.
well, it doesn't take that much when you're doing work on it, though. You're only taking in $4,000.
When did we go in debt on that, Michelle?
It started,
Does that make sense?
I mean, it's been in debt in the past, like in 2020, but it took like maybe a couple of years to get it back out. But it only built up again to like 4,000, well, it finally did get $5,393 in 2023 after spring collections came in. But then in 2023, we started progressively doing more work, trying to find where that plug was on Holden's, which, you know, okay, that one was $2,980, $2,301.95, another $200 for that, all just trying to find a plug. And trying to get that water to drain, it's still backed up. So, yeah. 18. And then from there, then, you know, did all that cleaning over on your property, which that was, let's see, almost 10,000 feet of ditch. So 23, 24 is when it really started going in substantial debt. And it just, with it only bringing in 4,000, it couldn't catch up.
Are you trying to run it as a break even or what happens if you have a surplus?
If you have a surplus at 4 years, then you can no longer collect. You just don't, yeah, if you don't, you just don't collect for assessments that year, unless you know that you have some more projects coming up. Now, we are hoping to get to, with this new drainage ledger stuff, get to the point where actually they can invest that money and we'll start earning interest on your surplus money. Hopefully, if you get enough of a surplus in there and then you're earning interest on it, it's gonna help start maintaining your drain.
Well, I don't take this personally, but I sensed more of a reaction than a proactive approach. I was wondering what the backstory was there.
These were let go for a lot of years.
Yeah, and it was in surplus for quite a
That's why
bit of time.
The increases seem very extreme. You're having to try to project out what they're gonna be 5 years, 10 years from now. And otherwise, you're having these hearings every few years.
This one was 1996, the one we just had before was 1987, and we've had some that were before that was our last increase. So yeah, we're not trying to be the bad guys on this, but it's something obviously that needs to be done so we can maintain our drains.
And we almost had to go in there too, because where we perform the work on Kirby's land is a little bit more towards the lower end of the whole entire watershed. We were having definite upstream some major issues with these backing up, so.
All right.
Again, in a perfect world, we can work downstream and head up the hill.
Yeah.
That's what we tried. That's,
Is it, do you guys have like a point system that you put certain areas at a higher point system that you have to do this for?
whatever screens allowed us.
You can petition yourself, you don't have to wait for the surveyor, and some people have petitioned to have their drain cleaned, so.
Most of the work is complaint driven unless you happen to go by a road and see that it's flooding, you know, or see an obvious problem. Otherwise, you know, like with over 600 miles of ditches, you can't get out there and you're not out there field all the time looking at stuff. So you don't know about problems. Until you see it.
All right. The board will now begin the decision-making process. To answer each one of the questions. Should the proposed scheduled maintenance assessments be changed in any way? Should the surveyor's report be approved as finally presented? Yes. Does any member desire any further evidence in order to make a decision? Should the hearing be adjourned and reconvened at a date certain?
No.
If you propose, review those again? Yeah, we need that.
There's a little bit
Review
of
of
difference.
proposed finding of fact.
Steuben County Drainage Board findings of fact, the board makes the following findings of fact for maintenance of a drain. Public hearing has been and is being recorded by digital recorder. The maintenance increase was initiated by surveyor's office, and surveyor's maps, drawings, and documents for this drain are admitted into evidence approved by the board. The drain has been classified as previously placed on a priority list of the long-range plan of the board, period. There are no damages to any landowner. All of the benefit factors of section 112 of the Indiana County Drainage Board Code have been considered by the board. All landowners sent notices of the proposed assessment have lands within the watershed. Notices by mail and by newspaper have been properly and timely made as required by the Indiana County Drainage Board Code for public hearings. All lands included in the watershed are assessed. No lands outside the watershed are assessed. None of the benefits assessed against any landowner are excessive. No further evidence is required for the board to make a decision. All persons desiring to speak in person or by counsel have been permitted a reasonable opportunity to present their evidence orally or in writing. All timely objections, if any, have been heard, discussed, replied to by the surveyor, and ruled on by the board. No person has objected to the procedure of the board during the public hearing. The board has jurisdiction of this drain under the Indiana County Drainage Board Code. The drain is in need of periodic maintenance, period. This drain can be made to A, perform the function for which it was designed and constructed, B, to properly drain all affected lands under current conditions by periodically cleaning, spraying, removing obstructions, and making minor repairs to it. That the work proposed by the surveyor to be formed on this drain does not provide for any reconstruction as provided in the drainage code. The board is unaware of any pollution in the drain. There has been no evidence to vacate the drain or that the drain has been abandoned by the board. All relevant documentation in the files of the surveyor and the board regarding this drain are received into evidence by the board. The proposed schedule of assessments as originally filed is adopted by the board. The secretary of the board shall publish the notice of the board's final order as required by the Indiana County Drainage Board Code. The final order form of the board is approved for this drain.
That's for a motion to approve the findings of fact. second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. I'll ask for a motion to approve or a motion to dismiss the surveyor's request for the number 531 Hamilton Lake, number 4 maintenance increase. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. I now announce that the board has approved these findings and the board is instructing the secretary of the board to publish notice of the findings and order. This hearing is now adjourned. Oh yeah, now we'll go back to the drainage board meeting and anything else? Anything else? Mr. Surveyor?
I don't believe so. I think we took care of the update on the H. Wagler train and, Greg, do you have anything? I don't, no, I think we're good. Thank
Or
you.
recess.
Awesome. Rosie just got engaged. That's cool. They've been together like